Rangers reign supreme in the final Old Firm of the season with 2 games left. Can they stay unbeaten? Elsewhere, it's deja vu for Hibs as they lose to St Johnstone in a key game again. St Mirren are denied a UEFA licence, and could the Champions League final head to Hampden? It's episode 20 of the False 90s podcast. With you today, we've got Marcus and Carl. How are you doing tonight, guys?
Yes, very good, my man. How are you doing?
Yeah, good.
All right.
Good.
I just want to apologise to the viewers for my last week's antics for not showing. It's not because Rangers got beat, it's because I fell asleep after my work. So that's the only reason why. That's all I've got to say.
We're a week behind in predictions now, thanks to you.
Oh, sorry, guys. Sorry. I did just points, potential points. Sorry.
But we'll start with the Old Firm.
Oh, shall we?
That's probably why.
Yes.
Probably why Andy isn't on tonight.
No, he's working. I think he's doing extra shifts. So, but yes, I'll kick off the Old Firm. So for the first time in a while, I am going to say that Rangers 4, Celtic 1, in a very dominant Old Firm fixture for Rangers, and it's been a while since I've said that. So yeah. Very good performance from Rangers' perspective, but obviously I've lost a couple of Celtic fans that will argue that the red card did change the game, because Celtic did start the better team. They started really on the front foot, starting to press our midfield and ask questions about our defence. But they're pushing and probing. Turnbull and obviously Forrest linking well together. Forrest had a couple chances as well. I do think Forrest has become, since he came up from his injury, been a pretty good player for Celtic. Especially, I think it's the first second game back. He's came back and he's thrived in both of them. But yeah, you're not going to get through our defence that easy this season. But yeah, we had a couple chances as well. Bonabartic and Ryan Kent linking up very well. A wee panel that Cal McGregor did against Cal McGregor, which is actually starts off in his first yellow card of the game, which a lot of people do argue about it wasn't yellow, but in the replay you can see that Cal McGregor did actually stand on his toe, which is redeemed as a dangerous tackle. So yeah, it was definitely a yellow card. But one of the key moments I think most people would say in that Old Firm fixture was the save. It's going to be labelled as the save from El Yunusi that McGregor had. It's just McGregor this season has been absolutely incredible. He got a slight couple fingers on El Yunusi's shot. It looked like it was going in from El Yunusi, but McGregor with the fingertip save to push it onto the bar, which was, what can you say? It was fucking incredible from McGregor, to be honest. It was a really, really good save. Probably one of his best this season, definitely. He always seems to obviously overperform in Old Firm games. He's an absolutely exceptional keeper, especially this season as well. But I'll get on to the sort of Rangers goal, which kind of eliminated Cal McGregor's second yellow of the game. So Ryan Kent, what he's usually done in the past Old Firm games this season is just tear Brown apart, and he does again, taking on a couple of defenders, passing really else, goes out from, I think it's Welsh. Kamara managed to get to the ball first from the 50-50, and Callum McGregor with a stupid challenge, to say the least, especially on a yellow card, which I was shouting for as a sending off, and then it managed to come into a reboot, and Ryan Kent flicks it into the middle with Roof controlling it with his chest, and it goes in from his chest, and a lot of people say it was a fluke. A lot of, especially Celtic fans on Twitter anyway. But you can see from Kamara's what he's doing. He wasn't really any under pressure. You know exactly what Kamara's doing from that, and it's an absolute superb goal from Kamara Roof.
I just wanted to say it's credit to the ref as well, playing
100%.
advantage from the challenge earlier, and then that leading to the Rangers goal, and then going back and giving the second yellow out.
Yeah, especially that's his first Old Firm, I think, Nick Walsh. So for once, I've got nothing to complain about the ref. I thought the ref was even some of the challenges against us. I thought he got right as well. But that definitely was a second yellow, especially. That was an absolutely shocking challenge to come out. But fair play to the ref for playing on. But that second yellow sort of was one of the turning points in the game as well. I'm sure, obviously, when you go down 10 men as well, is always a turning point in the match. But Celtic did manage to get back into it through Edouard. It was I would say, very poor defensively from Rangers. I don't want to criticise this season as well. I thought, I don't know who it was that lost his man. I think it was Simpson that lost Edouard. And well, obviously, as you do, you would only go back to the box when the ball comes out. But Simpson did lose man. I thought Simpson did have a very good game overall. But it's just there's a couple of mistakes that led to the Celtic goal. It was very disappointing to lose as well, especially when they were going down to 10 men. But again, you got to credit Celtic for the goal. It was a very good corner in from, I think it was Turnbull to the corner. The flicked off from Ayer. But then again, I wasn't really worried at that point because obviously we got the man advantage. But the second goal came from a man from everyone that's slagged this season, especially Celtic fans as well. Morelos. It was probably one of the best Morelos' goals I think I've ever seen as a Rangers shirt. So the ball comes out to Barisic. Barisic floats it in with his right foot. Kyler out to Kamara. Kamara plays it on really like a decent ball to Morelos, and then it's all Morelos from there. Does a nutmeg on Brown, passes Brown, and right in the top corner. Absolute exceptional. I think the celebration capped it off. Very nice as well. I think I sent a video into the podcast about the podcast chat that we have about that goal. So I can't remember. I had a few pints after that. So it was good to see Alfie scoring again, and it wasn't just some tapping from the back post. It wasn't just that guy at the back of the post. So, but I think forward from there, Rangers were the predominantly dominant side, which you would expect from obviously Celtic going down to 10 men. But yeah, saying another goal, I'm just going to try and get back to it. But obviously Celtic did keep in it. They had a few chances for Turnbull missing that header. And yeah, it was the Rangers' third goal came from Kemar Roof, who has been slagged by the critics quite a lot this season. He's been doing okay in my eyes. I would think he's been doing okay, but I obviously hadn't shown enough before this game. But he played a really nice ball into Barisic on the wide. And then what I think is the difference between Alfie and Ruth is that Alfie would probably try and drop short again for another ball and try and play it on the other side, try and switch the play. But Ruth played it out to Barisic, and as soon as he passed it out, he went straight into that box. And his commitment, Barisic knows exactly what he's doing, and it's pretty much a free header from Ruth right into the keeper's right with no chance for Scott Bain, and the celebration was pretty good as well. So, and there's a few more antics as well between Morelos and Brown, with Morelos signalling between that time. Scott Brown says something about it's the same challenge as Callum McGregor's. And then Alfie was like, boo-hoo, like singing like a baby face and all that, like crying and all that. So that did bring a smell to me as well. Obviously, Celtic had a few chances as well. There was Edouard that had the chance where Simpson mistake and Edouard was in, and they just went wide of McGregor's goal. But we've got to credit. I think
header as well.
Elias had one as well. Yeah. I think it was a header, was it?
Yeah.
Went wide. Yeah. I think he should have done better, personally. But I think it's that he was under pressure as well at the same time. I think Tavernier got a slight touch on that. That might have put him off slightly. But I think you've got to credit to the man in the moment, Mr. Jermaine Defoe, for the fourth goal. K1, I think he was on for about a couple of minutes before he got his goal. Absolutely chopped Stephen Welsh.
Yeah, he came on the 86th minute and then scored in the 92nd.
Honestly, I think that capped off such a brilliant day for being a Rangers fan as well. Jermaine Defoe getting a goal. He's always said that he wanted to get a goal, and you can see by his celebration how much it actually meant to him as well. I think he's only scored in one derby ever in his career, and getting that goal, which obviously he's in a contract talks right now as in this day forward, and I hope he does get another year in his contract because he's been really key for Rangers at times. But that goal must mean a lot to him as well. And I was so buzzing for Defoe as well, especially I think he's 38-year-old scoring an Old Firm game. it topped off a really good day for being a Rangers fan. I don't think Andy was very happy after it either. I don't think any other Celtic fans were either. But yeah, so if it ended the Rangers 4, Celtic 1, and obviously we're undefeated against Celtic this season, which is
You're
I don't
undefeated
know
against everyone this season in the league.
in the league so far. Yeah, still got a couple of games, tough games coming up as well. So I'm not gonna say that at the moment. So yeah, really dominant from Rangers that game, and obviously really dominant from Rangers against Celtic this entire season. So it just capped off a really good season against them. So I obviously was really drunk that night as well. So
It was Rangers' first win by 3 goals or more in almost 14 years.
yeah, I mean, I think the last time we beat Celtic more than 2 goals was the 4-2 game at Ibrox back in, I think it's 2011, I want to say.
Yeah. The last time won by 3 goals was in 2007.
It can't have been, mate.
October 2007 was the last time we won by 3 goals or more.
Won by 3 goals, okay.
Yeah.
Because the last game I went to, remember one of the first Old Firms games I can remember, really, was 2011, and Rangers won 4-2. It was Lafferty, Naismith at a double, and Jelavic.
Yes.
And then McGregor made a mistake they went through his legs. That's the game that I remember the most. I think that was the last time we scored more than 2 goals against them, I think, I want to say.
Yeah, the last time won by 3 goals was October 2007. 2 goals from Nacho Novo, and the other one from Barry Ferguson.
So yeah, I think that result obviously said there were 10 men, but yeah, I think that result definitely made me a happy guy, especially after the result the previous week. But yeah, no, it just caps. I'm used to, especially nowadays. Well, previously, was getting beat 5-1, 5-0, 4-0 off them week in, week out. We played them, so it's good to get a running on them, especially now as well. So it's very happy Rangers fan at the moment.
Yeah, because Rangers have won every game at home in the league this season as well. So
apart from European, but yeah.
Yeah, in the league, yeah.
In the league. Yeah, in the league, yeah.
But we'll jump from some team that has won a lot at home to a team that hasn't won as much at home. Because Hibs lost 1-0 to St Johnstone last Saturday.
That we did. It's pretty much a carbon copy of the game up in Perth that we played a month or two ago. Pretty much, Hibs come out the traps for sort of 20 minutes, look really intent on putting a marker down in the game, and then a defensive error costs us a goal, and then after that we just have nothing, and don't look like we could have played another 60 or 90 or 120 or whatever minutes and no scored. So very disappointing attacking wise. I think I've seen somewhere our XG was a lot higher than theirs. They were more kind of defensive trying to hit us.
So what I've got here is Hibs' XG was 1.1 and St Johnson's XG was 1.12.
Wait, really?
Yeah, but obviously XG is different from each different sources, so.
Yeah, that's why I'm not actually a huge fan of using XG normally, because it's not like a concrete thing that you can like kind of evaluate yourself. You kind of just have to get it from places, and but it looked like we had more of the ball. We had more possession. We had a couple of good chances. Boyle in the first half. Obviously also having a disallowed goal, but it was rightly ruled out for offside. But it was just another game where it was a bit flat. The defense wasn't all that bad. It was just Porteous is the kind of player where he was brilliant last week. Did really well stepping up to take the penalty, and then every sort of 5 games or so he's got a really, really terrible defensive error in him, which he's been getting a lot of criticism for, rightly so. I don't know how much longer he can keep doing these mistakes and still get backing from some Hibs fans, because the ones that are backing him are going to slowly turn against him if these continue. He's been touted for a 1 or 2 million move away in January and in the summer, but he needs to cut it out of his game. We want to keep not the rashness, but the bravery that he's got in his play, and cutting out the mistakes as well. But if he learns and he develops in the way that I hope he will, he can be a really good player. It's just, I think, that bit of experience, that bit of maturity that maybe he doesn't have at the minute. But if you look back at it, it is an awful, awful pass. It's like you're told never to pass across goal as a defender.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen it.
Yeah, I'm just seeing it just now, mate.
It's a horrible mistake. The thing is, there wasn't.
It's terrible. Yeah, what he should have done at least is try and put it out. At least, obviously, he won the ball back. I think it was it.
He did really well. He did really well to win the ball back and kind of muscle Harren off.
What he should have done is just All I've always been told when I've ever played defence is try and, if you can't get a pass to someone, just boot it out of the park.
Yeah.
As long as it's away from the goal. But I see what he's trying to do, I guess. But you should never have done it. That's a few mistakes Porteous has now made.
Like I said, it's like once every sort of, maybe not once every 5 games, but the last one that comes to mind is the one against Livy, away, where he basically for Robinson to score.
I mean, from a Rangers fan perspective, it's good to see Glenn Middleton getting a goal, even though it was from an error. He managed to get in that good area, and
he's also apparently got beef with us as well because his loan move didn't work out.
Which
is a bit silly.
And his celebration did quite.
A bit silly. I mean, if he was a good enough player, he would have shown it when he was at us, But not Hibs quality at the end of the day.
Scoring against you.
Yeah, not Hibs quality though. I mean, to me, he doesn't get in the team.
He's not good enough to play for Hibs, but he's good enough to score against Hibs.
I mean,
it was from a mistake, to be fair, but again,
he doesn't get in over Jamie Murphy when he's fit. Boyle. Maybe he starts ahead of Drake.
Is Jamie Murphy your player now?
So the deal was he's on loan for this season, but his contract runs out.
He does contract run out. Yeah.
At the end of the season.
I think he was getting, because I don't see him slotting that Rangers team.
As well, we've signed, another thing to note is we've signed Daniel Mackay from Inverness, who has.
And we've just signed this the guy, the fashion guy, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
So I don't think him getting back. So you probably get him, to be fair.
Yeah, it depends though, because if Jack Ross, obviously we're going away from the game now and more towards signings and that, but which we can go back to the game, but just quickly is, if we are keeping Jamie Murphy, it's kind of maybe a risk, or more of a risk now that we've seen how the season's panned out for him. He's had quite a bit of time out injured. When we first made the signing, a lot of Hibs fans were saying, his injury record's not the best, but I was quite confident he would kind of shake it off, get into a good rhythm of games for us, but it's just really not happened. He has been injured quite a bit, and even when he has played, he has been quite inconsistent. Just he seems quite he can skim past like quite a few players, but he's then really reluctant to pass the ball, which is a big problem for our kind of counter-attacking play. And I think the signing of Daniel Mackay, who plays on the left wing predominantly, and also who's come off of a season where he scored 9 goals in the Championship, that probably maybe puts into question whether we will sign Murphy on the longer deal, but it remains to be seen. At the same time, we do need depth in the winger area. I mean, we've only got Murphy, Boyle and Wright that can play there. I think we've actually resorted to playing McGuinness out in the left whenever we've had to this season as well. So, but still, like, Mackay will be a brilliant signing. Follows the trend of us signing young Scottish talent, and over the moon with it. But yeah, on to the result. Back onto the game, I should say. It's tough. Our record against St Johnstone this season, not just this season, but at home against them in general over the past sort of 10 years, it's not been good enough. So yeah, it's just kind of disappointing. I think they set up in a way that is absolutely perfect to play against us. And what's frustrating is we've not really done anything to counteract them, even though we've played them so many times this season. You just see Ross kind of doing. We're doing the same thing where we're just putting on pressure, but we're not scoring against that that rock solid defense. I mean, you know as well because they were brilliant against you as well.
Yeah, of course.
They're a very well drilled team.
Callum, you got to give credit to Callum. He's completely
Exactly.
revolutionised that team, 100%.
I reckon Hibs to beat St Johnstone need to go a goal up, and I think what's happened in the last two games is that we've not gotten that first goal, and then it's just been way too easy for St Johnstone to shut up shop. I think a lot of that has got to do with McCart, Gordon, and Kerr as being such a solid backline. And if we don't make significant efforts to sign Jason Kerr, who apparently is a very big Hibs fan as well, then yeah, I'll be kind of disappointed. But yeah, I'm not overly fussed about losing the 3 points though. It might be surprising you hearing that, but
yeah, it's quite surprising to be honest.
Even-
Because it's not there's not much between you and Aberdeen now for third.
But hear me out. So I think Rangers getting knocked out of the cup means that we don't get a. It means that finishing third and fourth now for us, we get the same place in Europe.
No,
so I
it
think
won't be.
that
It won't be.
Yeah.
Third and
It
fourth
is.
go straight into the same round of the Conference League.
Oh, I think that's stupid.
it's geared to benefit the Old Firm ultimately, but if Rangers had won the cup, then
Yeah.
finishing third would have gotten us that higher European seeding.
Yeah.
But now that yous are out, I think Ross and the team probably have flipped our attention over to the Scottish Cup and
Yeah.
doing that,
Yeah.
which
definitely.
is on the one hand good to see that we're intent on putting right past wrongs in cup competitions, but at the same time we could have sealed third there and then. But like I say, I'm not too worried because even if Aberdeen beat us, right? So there's 2 games left in the season. If Aberdeen beat us on Wednesday, they go level in points with us, but we're ahead in goal difference by quite a long way. And then their next game is Ibrox on the last day of the season. So they would have to beat us and then also beat yous or get a draw, which I don't see happening, to be honest.
Yes, I will be at that game, but not at the game, but I'll be
Yeah.
there.
Okay. So
So yeah. No,
I reckon
yeah, I don't
we
wanna
can
go about it.
lose. We can lose the last 2 games and still qualify for third.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, definitely.
It'll be tight. I mean, at the end of the day, if that happens, which it'll be in goal difference.
I mean,
then
knowing
it's-
Hibs Aberdeen games is normally quite tight, so
yeah, definitely we could draw. We could even draw up at Pittodrie, and I think that would secure us third as well because then there'd be 4 in it with 3 to play for. So
yeah.
I'm pretty. I mean, just the fact alone, we could lose both of these last 2 games and still finish in third.
I mean, if you win the cup and
Yeah.
qualify for third, I
That is
think that's
one
a
of the
brilliant
best
season.
It's one of the best Hibs seasons for years and years and years.
Yeah,
Honestly.
yeah. 100%.
But the cup is still to play for. We've got the semi-final tomorrow. I'm sure I'll be talking about it later for predictions. So
Yeah, 100%. Mate.
yeah,
The thing is, I think we've mentioned the past couple of weeks is that the cup winners go automatically into the Europa League group stage.
Do they?
I'm pretty sure they do. Yeah.
Wow.
yeah. That's a lot of money for us as well. There's a
Yeah.
ton of incentive,
I-
and
It's completely changed the last because of the Conference League, but that's strange.
it's
'Cause I don't get that. I really don't. But obviously, I don't want to tangent off into the cup thing. I'm sure we talked about it previously, but I don't get why third place go to the conference, but then the cup winners go into Europa League.
Oh,
I don't
sorry. Yeah. So it's not directly into the group stage, but they go into the playoff round,
Last qualifying round, right,
okay.
which is basically one tie off the group stage.
Right. Okay. Still, that's pretty much like
As a
obviously.
seeded team as well in the play.
Let's just say like Rangers didn't win the league. Let's say Rangers came third, right? So let's say Rangers got knocked out of the cup, right? And they qualify for third. So they go to the Conference League when previously they would get into the second round of the Europa League. It's bamboozles me completely.
It's strange that there's 2 Champions League spaces, 2 Conference League spaces, and yet only 1 Europa League space for the cup.
Nah, that's a joke. I think that's a joke, in my opinion. But
Well, it's just-
It is. They've done it in the assumption that Celtic and Rangers will be winning the cup most of the time.
yeah, but don't get me wrong. It does make like a smaller teams
It's
a
tougher.
better chance, I guess.
It's also just tough for us because now there's more pressure on us to kind of win the cup, But we should be. When I say should be, I don't mean that I expect us to. I just mean that you want us to want to go and win the cup. We should be throwing everything at it, especially after the two other.
I mean,
competitions.
last time you were your favourites to win the cup, you
Exactly.
yeah, I see
But,
what you mean. Mate.
but I'm not, like I said, I'm not saying that we should be winning it. In terms of like it would be embarrassing if we don't. I'm saying like we just need to put everything into it, and it's any of the teams left in it can, you know, a wee confidence boost since I think St Johnstone have a few players out with COVID. So I'd much rather be playing St Mirren in the final if we get to the final, obviously assuming. But
Yeah, of course.
it all depends what happens tomorrow. We just need to take it one game at a time, and even if it is St Johnstone, even given our poor record against them, it's still all to play for. So.
I mean, form goes out the window when it comes to the cup. Mate.
Also,
It really does. And bar last week as well, we've been playing a lot better, I think, the past sort of month. Obviously, last week was maybe a bit reminiscent of some of our performances late December, early January. But apart from that, last month I've been really happy with how we've been playing. So,
yeah,
especially in the cup, I think we've been really good in the cup. And another thing to note for tomorrow, Doige has scored in every run in the cup so far, and he's also got more Hibs goals against Dundee United than any other team. So my money's in Doige to score tomorrow, and it'll be a win for Hibs. So,
I mean, I'm not going to say I hope so, but
yeah,
because you'll be on it for another 5 years, Marcus.
if we win the cup,
Yeah, another 5 years, mate.
it would be 2 cup wins in 5 years.
Yeah,
So.
then again, he wouldn't be bantering Rangers fans anymore, so it'll be alright.
Yeah, then it'll be probably.
But what I don't get though is like you've been slagging Jack Ross this entire season. Well, you've been on and off with Jack Ross this entire season.
Yeah, the fan base is really split on that.
No, but it's not about the fan base. It's about you.
I think whenever I've come on and slated Jack Ross, it's been for like legitimate reasons, but I've never said
one
that.
week you were like, yeah, Jack Ross. I don't think Jack Ross will last. And another week you were like, yeah, Jack Ross is a good manager.
So
like...
I said 1 week that Jack Ross, I don't think he would last, and that was after the 3-0 defeat to St Johnstone in the Cup, and that was on the basis that if we just finished third and didn't have the Scottish Cup win, then maybe he was on a sugary peg for next season. But the performances have increased, or the quality in performances, have increased in a way that has given me more hope. You know, but there are genuine criticisms surrounding Jack Ross, but I think you just need to look at Jared at Rangers to see that like managers need time to implement what they're trying to do.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Right now, I think it would be daft to sack Ross at this point in time, and I think even if we don't win the cup, I think it still would be daft to sack Ross. A lot of Hibs fans will have a knee-jerk reaction and say, you know, it's time for him to go, but I don't think the style of football has been anywhere near as bad as people have made out. It's not been perfect.
Here, mate.
It's not been perfect every week. We've had games that have been terrible to watch. But like I say, it's just a process, isn't it? We'll need to see what happens next season. But probably, like I say, not winning the cup this time, or even if we go out tomorrow, then it can swing it either way, because then he needs to win the first few games of next season. Because if we start losing and start drawing again, then people are gonna, fans are gonna turn against him in the fan base.
I'll say something about Gerrard, right? Because obviously there was quite a few outcries about Gerrard getting sacked
from last season.
Season. If Gerrard doesn't win anything next season, I think he's walking a very thin line. Because there's so much on the line next year. If whoever wins the league next season has got automatic group stages to the Champions League. So that, and obviously we're on a title defend now, and the players now know what it's like to win a league.
Yeah,
so that's what they'll be striving for.
I think you're the absolute favourites for next season, though, if we're being honest. Because I think,
Celtic
will have a massive rebuild.
And obviously, there was some guy, I don't know if you've heard on Clyde, who was like, I would rather wait 3 years before winning a league to see an actual good team. And it's the same thing what happened to Gerrard. Gerrard took it 2 years to build that team, and look what it's done. Obviously, there's been the games we've lost have been quite important ones, don't get me wrong. And it's been quite embarrassing at times, but I would probably say about 90%, 80% of the season has been phenomenal. Obviously, we if we don't concede 5 goals in the next 2 games, which right now is unlikely, we will win another record for the least conceded goals in a season.
Yeah.
That's just outstanding, especially what's on the line this season. What was on the line this season.
Absolutely.
So it obviously depends, because this has only been one trophy that we've won in the past the past couple of years since we've been back up in the league.
Yeah.
So it's kind of one of them. There's obviously a few fans that probably want, if Derry doesn't win anything next season, will probably want him to go. But
You think really? Even after all the
mate, yeah, 100%.
even after all the
There's always these people that are there always is in every club that people if he doesn't, because he's put that on him now. He's got a title to defend, which is let's say is the priority. If he doesn't win it next season, I think there'll be a few cries for him to go, definitely.
Okay, yeah, I can definitely understand where you're coming from, because the Hibs fan
I
base
don't want him to go. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, it depends how well we play next season. It all depends on that, of course. But I don't know. There's always a few people that just want him to go. There's always people like that. Aye.
Yeah, but as you mentioned earlier, Marcus, it was Aberdeen who closed the gap on Hibs to just 3 points and 9 goals in the goal difference table, with a 2-1 win over Livingston. Goals from Hendry and Hedges for Aberdeen, J. Emmanuel Thomas for Livingston. Aberdeen, they actually scored a couple of goals in this game.
I was really surprised, to be honest, not going to lie. I did look at the result, but I haven't seen the highlights. So, who actually scored for Aberdeen?
There's Callum Hendry and Ryan Hedges. In fact, Florian Canberra got an assist as well. So.
Don't be wrong, right? I have praised Ryan Hedges and quite a lot this season. I always wanted to see him at Rangers, and I thought he would be the more likely candidate to go to Rangers than Scott Wright, to be honest. But yeah, no, it looks like Aberdeen are starting to get the hang of scoring now.
Yeah.
Obviously, it would probably been a lot harder than it looked like. So
I think it took a while, because there was a lot of. They basically changed their whole front line in January. They had to deal with McInnes leaving and Glass coming in, and the way Glass wants to play. So it has taken a few weeks, but I think we said in an earlier pod that this kind of end of the season for Aberdeen is kind of a bit of a free hit for Glass, and that there's not really any expectation on him for the rest of the season, and he'll look to rebuild for next season. But it's 2-1.
Obviously, with the like of Scott Brown coming on, I don't think people would. I don't know. I obviously don't know Aberdeen fans, but I don't know how happy they'd be with that coming in. Obviously, he's a big profile and stuff like that, but
Declan Gallagher as well.
Declan Gallagher, I saw that. He'll be a good player for them. But like, I genuinely see now, I still don't see where Scott Brown gets into that midfield. Not gonna lie.
Neither do I, to be honest, because they've got.
Where's he going to slot? They've got Ferguson. They've got yeah.
Yeah, so they'll
McCrory as well.
McCrory as well, yeah. But I think Scott Brown will be mainly focusing on his assistant manager. Focus on being an assistant manager over being a player, but it will still be.
He's getting nutmegged by that guy from the back post, so you know.
Exactly, yeah. So it'll be one that. It'll probably be a voice in the dressing room, but it probably won't play that many games.
But it'll still be a voice for them. So, like, I don't know. They'll probably. I think next season, obviously, they're still challenging for further at the moment. But I think next season they'll definitely be a force to beckon with, to be honest. But yeah, I thought it was a really good goal from the Jet. Anyway, I think it was really good play. Him keeping it in, I think, and obviously passed it in and got the return ball, and did a couple of Aberdeen players, and I don't know who the goalkeeper is. I don't think it was can't tell you the goalkeeper, but it was a really good goal from Jet anyway. That's the only one that I saw.
Yeah,
It started from him and finished with him. I think Jet's been really good this season anyway. So
yeah, it was Woods in goal for Aberdeen, because I think Joe Lewis.
Woods in goal, yeah.
Lewis is out injured. But yeah, J. Emmanuel Thomas, another
a good goal from him. He's been. I think that his.
Do you think he could go anywhere else in Scotland this season? I think he'll stay at Livy.
I think he'll stay at Livingston. He's 30 now. So
30, wow, right, okay. Yeah, I think he'll stay then.
but he has scored. Let me just bring it up.
Don't get me wrong, but you could argue that in like obviously he's been playing with Livy and he's not been consistent though. But like he could play for the likes of like a Motherwell team. Hopefully Motherwell will be better next season.
Mm.
But like obviously Aberdeen just started to get in the striking force now. But could he get into that Aberdeen team? That's a question.
He probably could, but I think Aberdeen won't want to do any changes.
Don't get me wrong. He's pretty good defensively as well. He could play on that wing, but then cut inside. But
So it's his fifth goal of the season in the league, but he scored 2 goals since the split started. So I think he's really turned it on since the league split. But going to the other side of the split, it was a bit of a shake-up there it was a 2-0 win for Ross County at Tannadice. Goals from White and Iacoviti, which does lift Ross County a bit away from the danger. Obviously, they're still 9 points off Dundee United, who sit in 9th, but they're on 33 points, Killing on 32 and Hamilton on 30 still. It does lift them slightly away with 2 games left of the season. I think they have 2 big games left against Hamilton and Motherwell. That Hamilton game on Wednesday is a big one for them.
Yeah, it's getting interesting down there at the bottom. I'm not sure, was it tonight Raytheon Dunfermline playing?
Tomorrow night is the second leg.
Alright, yeah. No, it's
finished
really
0-0.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see who finishes in that 11th spot, because obviously that's kind of getting a really important 3 points, but also Kilmarnock, their form has been really good the past sort of month or two, so I hate to, well, I don't hate, I was going to say I hate to say it, but I really like saying it, that I think Hamilton will be bottom coming into the season. So
they did pick up a win at the weekend, 2-1 win over St Mirren.
I was surprised by that, I'm not going to lie. I was really
surprised. Goals for Hamilton and a goal
I think we all were due. I don't know if we did predictions for that week.
Probably another case of St Mirren having won Ireland Cup, though.
Yeah.
Still far clear of this relegation battle. They've got really nothing to play for in the league anymore.
The only thing I want to say about going back to the Dundee United Ross County game, I know it's a bit changing off subject, but I thought, I don't know who the number 7 is for Ross County, winger.
Is it not Gardine?
No, Gardine, yeah.
Might be, yeah. I thought his inclusion for the first goal was exceptional. To be honest, I thought he was really good. He did a couple. I think he did about 2 or 3 Dundee United players. He switched it into, I don't know who it was. Again, I'm not really sure, but I think it came into Jordan White, who scored the first goal.
Yeah, Jordan White.
Really good header from Jordan White, to be honest. But yeah, fair play. It looked like it was dominant performance anyway from Ross County. So yeah, fair play to them, to be honest. Obviously, Dundee United have been struggling to score recently, so I think they capitalised on that, and obviously they made them pay for it.
Yeah, but going back to that win for Hamilton, it does spice up the relegation battle, I think, at the moment. They're on 30 points, while Kilmarnock sit on 32. Ross County on 33. And Kilmarnock were the only team in that bottom 3 to lose at the weekend. 2-0 loss to Motherwell, goals from Devante Cole and Stephen O'Donnell. Didn't look like Lafferty had the best of games in this. He's been the one who's been kind of dragging Killy out of the danger.
He has been.
To have the best of games here, with 2 games left, does really need to turn it back on again. In fact, I didn't actually notice this, but the last game of the season is Killy versus Hamilton.
Oh.
So that'll be, Hamilton versus Killy, sorry. So that'll be one that will, I think that will decide who goes down bottom and who goes down through the playoffs.
Yeah, of course.
But they play St Mirren on Wednesday. But going back to St Mirren, news came out this week that they have been denied a UEFA licence. Obviously, they can't qualify through UEFA competition through the league, but they can still win the Scottish Cup.
Oh damn! How come?
Is that though? Yeah.
They have been denied the UEFA licence, as have Livingston, Hamilton, and Ross County. But that's
Why is that though? What's the reason behind it?
it just says, well, the reasons for the refusal have not been divulged. The ruling can be contested, so they can contest it, especially
That's
if
rubbish.
they qualify. But the fact that also Livingston as well didn't qualify, that means that if Hibs win the cup and Livingston finish fifth, they won't be able to play for the Conference League as well.
Wow,
Wow, that's big news. That's big news.
that's kind of disappointing.
Obviously, Hibs are the favourites to win the cup, so I see
Yeah.
why Livingston have applied for it. But wow, that's what's going to happen then if they get denied of it.
They'll
Like who's it go to? Who's it go to?
it'll
like?
go to the next team who will be able to go for it. So Livingston at the moment are in sixth, so this won't happen at the moment. But if Livingston climb up to fifth, it will go to St Johnstone in sixth.
Yeah. Okay, that's kind of disappointing.
I'm not sure what happens if St Mirren win the cup. I'm not too sure who that Europa League place goes to.
Wow.
Probably
It'll probably go
whoever's
to third place in the league or the runners up. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, no one knows because this Conference League crap is just a joke.
It's UEFA, so.
Oh yeah, UEFA's a joke. But yeah, no, that's a bit disappointing, especially because it doesn't give a chance for the small clubs to get
It's
into
like,
Europe.
when was the last time St Mirren would have played in Europe? I mean,
Exactly.
It would have been when they last won the Scottish Cup in 1987. Let me just bring up the article again. St Mirren haven't played in European competition for 34 years. The last time they won it was in the Cup Winners' Cup.
That's a whole generation, pretty much.
Yeah, so the last time we won it was the Cup Winners' Cup of 87-88.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a shame.
Some people my age that have never seen St Mirren in Europe. Like, come on, like, there's got to be a reason. There's got to be a mad reason behind, like, some money issue or something.
Well, there's grown Hearts fans who've never seen their team lift the League Cup, so.
I'm just going to check how St Mirren did in that Cup Winners' Cup. They beat Tromsø in the first round, then lost to Mechelen in the second round. Just so you know.
my Belgian team.
Oh, Mechelen.
Mechelen. Yes.
Whatever it is. But yeah.
Yes.
So it's bad news for them, but they can still contest it. So I reckon if they do win it, it could be contested. And
I mean, would it have been for the stadium? Because
the licensing comes in to tackle issues such as financial transparency and instability, inadequate stadia, overdue payments, and lack of youth investment.
Wow, jeez.
Wow. It could be all of them, really, because obviously we don't know the club inside out, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't know pretty much anything about St Mirren, but...
Yeah. Well, it's a bit disappointing as well.
You want to see clubs being given the opportunity. I mean, even if they don't win the cup.
Yeah, correct.
Even if they don't win the cup, the fact that even if they do win it, they wouldn't have the opportunities.
It's big for Scottish football as well, because if they do well, then obviously that's coefficient points.
That's huge cash influx for the club as well.
Exactly, correct.
You know,
yeah. It's disappointing, man.
You know.
Fuck UEFA license. Who needs that pish?
UEFA pretending to be the good guys in the whole Europa League thing, or European Super League thing, and they're still like marginalising smaller clubs and smaller fan bases.
Marcus. I had a rant about that previously.
Definitely.
But talking of UEFA and the UK, there's a possibility that the Champions League final could be moved to the UK and possibly Hampden. So the news coming out today is that Turkey has been added to the UK government's red list of no travel kind of thing.
Yep.
Because of their high coronavirus rates, and the Champions League final between Chelsea and Manchester City is due to be held in Istanbul. Obviously, it was meant to be held it last year, and it possibly can't hold it this year if there is expected to be fans going to this Champions League final. Obviously, if they're flying all the way up to Turkey, they can't really do that. But calls for it to be moved to the UK. There are only 4 Category 5 UEFA stadia in the UK. Category 5 is the type of stadium which can hold a Champions League final, and those are Wembley, Old Trafford, Millennium Stadium, and Hampden.
Ibrox.
Is Ibrox Category 5?
Yes.
Category 4.
Category 5. It's
Category
5-star. It's 5-star on the UEFA list anyway.
They should have it at the
Sorry.
Category 9 stadium Spaghetti had.
Oh no! I'm not. Imagine if it went to like the Stadium of Youth Champions League final.
I mean, in theory, why not? Yeah.
Celebrating the champion,
Honestly.
lifting the Champions League trophy in front of the Spice of Life North stand.
Oh no! I don't even.
You got folk shopping at the Sainsbury's next door, just looking on like kind of funny.
I stand in the shopping trolley just to watch the game.
Oh, aye.
Raheem
yeah.
Sterling just popping into Sainsbury's to get a champagne after the game.
I think it makes sense because it is obviously 2 English clubs in the final anyway. I reckon it'll probably be Old Trafford or Wembley.
It can't be Wembley because of the Championship playoff final, which is on the same day.
That could be moved technically because Champions final is more important.
It could be moved, but then you have to move the League 1 and League 2 playoff finals as well.
It's Champions to be fair.
Probably Hampden then, or the Millennium.
So it'll be Hampden, the Millennium. Aston Villa have put their Villa Park stadium forward. It is only Category 4, but then again, there's only 8,000 fans going, so doesn't really matter.
It could be Villa, but I said to you, Sam, before. Obviously, you said a counter thing that it needs to be halfway between the team, but I think the Olympic Stadium should be a good option for the Champions League final. To be honest,
so the Olympic Stadium, you've got the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium as well, which is
yeah. Oh yeah, that'd be a good stadium. I go with that. But again, obviously, it's not many fans, so
yeah. So there are. I think they need a big stadium for the media and the press boxes and all that. That's the main reason why they have to use the Category 5 one, because it's obviously the biggest match in Europe every year. So
even like obviously back to Scottish football is Hampden being considered for that is it's quite good, I guess.
Yeah.
In a way, because obviously we're getting a bit of recognition for Hampden, but again, I don't think Hampden's the greatest stadium for Champions League final, to be honest.
They have hosted Champions League finals before. I think most recently in 2002 for Real Madrid versus Bayer Leverkusen. The final
Yeah.
But
I don't know. Obviously, I think the main priority for the SFA is to keep that stadium like clean to an extent for the Euros.
Yeah.
But yeah, you never know. Like I don't think it will be Hampden, but even Hampden to be on the considered list is quite good for the Scottish football.
It's quite good, yeah, and I think it's going to be a good idea to move it to the UK regardless of where it goes.
It makes sense. It does make sense.
Of course. I mean, it'll be kind of unfair on Istanbul, but then again, hopefully next year they get a full final, filling up the entire stadium, push everyone back a year again. Yeah, I think that's all of the news in Scottish football. Have we got a quiz this week?
I don't think we do, mate. No.
I think only 3 of us. I think kind of pointless anyway.
I mean, Marcus will win it anyway. Let's just
exactly.
stick on with that. But we do have predictions this week though, because I kind of feel bad obviously not coming on last week. I did fell asleep after work, but I cannot never not doing. But again, you could have still done it last week.
Could have done. Oh well. How did we get on predictions 2 weeks ago?
So from then, results are in, gentlemen. So in last place, which is I am so glad to say, is Marcus.
Oh,
Marcus, you had a nightmare.
Oh,
To say the least, mate. You got 2 points. So that's terrible. So that puts you onto a score of 49.
Okay.
And obviously Andy did put his results in, so the next, which is third, was myself with 5. So that puts me on 57. And then next was Sam
Me.
with 7. No, yeah, with 7.
Nice.
So that puts you on a score on 46, I think I'm correct. Correct me if I'm wrong, Marcus, you're Mr. Maths guy. So, and then the winner with a staggering score of 13 is Lewis.
Fucking hell.
Nice.
I was surprised by that as well, to be honest. So that puts Lewis on a score of 28.
Nice.
So,
So what's the table as a whole looking like?
I'll do a second. So, in last, we still have Lewis on 28. Sam, you're on 46. Andy on 47. Marcus on 49. And myself on 57.
Jeez. Wow.
Oh,
So, whoever wins the Mars bar, it comes into the last few games, gentlemen, and it's very tight at the top.
second
Yeah.
to fourth is tight.
It's very tight. I think,
It's
yeah,
really tightened up.
between you and Andy, definitely, 100%. I think when Andy actually putting results in, he does get them right. To be fair, but yeah, that's what to play for, guys. What to play for, especially at the top as well.
Wow. Okay.
Anyone can just get a good week and just jump the top.
Yeah, and we've in fact got 8 games to predict. The 2 cup
okay.
semi-finals and the 6 midweek games in the league. So the first game on Saturday at 4 p.m. is Dundee United versus Hibs in the cup semi-final.
I'm going to go right in there and say 2-0 Hibs.
Oh, think a best on the park.
I'm gonna go with 3-2 Hibs.
Oh no.
You think Dundee United will score?
I think Dundee United. I think Mark McNulty will score 2 goals.
Sam, why do you always put Hibs to win, but you always make it really nerve-wracking? I don't want that.
Because
To be fair, right?
it's
'Cause it is
Hibs.
Hibs.
Let's be honest here.
It's
They will
Hibs,
win,
yeah.
but they will make it nerve-wracking.
As much as I predicted Motherwell to win, that was just to annoy you, Marcus.
Sure.
Let's be real.
Yeah.
But I thought Motherwell did cause Hibs a lot of problems. And you probably bet that as well, Marcus. They did
for
cause
10
you a lot of problems.
For 10 minutes they did,
But they still scored from the chances. You must have been on your edge at the last 10 minutes.
I really was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, like, which is, the table doesn't reflect Motherwell's like compatibility at times. I still do think this will be a walk in the park for Hibs. Obviously, I think there'll be a few issues, especially after Dundee United's previous results as well. So I was initially going to say as well 2-0 Marcus. So I'm going to say 2-0 Hibs. I think it'll be quite a doggle for the.
I'm sensing it. I'm sensing a cheeky goal for United, but still a Hibs win from you.
No, I think Hibs will win 2-0. Dundee United will
okay.
score. Dundee United will score.
Okay, fair.
And the second game is Sunday at 2:15. Is St Mirren versus St Johnstone. You have to remember that St Johnstone have, I think it's four or five players out due to COVID.
Yeah, it's a hard one to predict, to be honest. Let's be real.
But we don't know who those players are yet, which is
Yeah.
difficult. So we can't really don't know who's playing or not.
Mm-hmm. I still think St Johnstone will win it. Obviously, the team on form at the moment. Obviously, we don't know the players who are out, so this could change literally everything. But obviously, we don't know the players at the current time, so I think St Johnstone will win 2-1. I think St Johnstone will win. Obviously, it depends on the players out. If they've got the key players, all their key players out, then it's good.
They've got so they'll have the Hearts legend Bobby Zamal in goals.
Oh yeah, of course. So what happened to Andrew Clark? He's not playing this week, was he?
COVID. They've got 4 players out with COVID. I don't think they've been named, but the fact that they've gone and signed Lamal on emergency loan kind of tells you everything you need to know.
Yeah.
So yeah, that well, I'll go and say what I think, I guess.
Yeah, man.
I like to think St Mirren will go through. We don't know who the players are. It's probably, in most likelihood, it'll be the two goalkeepers. I can't remember the other. There's obviously Xander Clark, and I can't remember the other guy's name. He played last weekend.
Yeah, I don't know.
But you'd assume it would be the both of them if it's both. Obviously both goalies are out. They've had to get a substitute. So I don't think their outfield squad will be affected too badly. But however, I still think that there's potential for a shock. I mean, if the Scottish Cup this season has proved anything, it's that there's been plenty shocks, plenty tight games. So I think it'll be 1-1 after full time,
Mm-hmm.
and I think St Mirren will score in extra time, and it'll be 2-1 after extra time to St Mirren.
Cool.
Yep.
I am going to go slightly similar and say that it's going to be 1-1, but I think it's going to go to penalties, and because St Johnstone could
It's
have
not bad.
keepers out,
Uh-oh.
apparently I reckon it's going to be St Mirren who go through on penalties.
Wow. Well, we'll soon find out about that one, gentlemen.
Yeah, I think it's a really tough one to predict because you don't know who's out. for
Yeah,
St
yeah, of
Johnstone.
course. But that makes it more exciting for the predictions, I guess.
Predictions, exactly, yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
But let's go forward to Wednesday. We have a full round of fixtures in the top half. We've got Livy versus Rangers at 6 p.m.
I'll let you go first on this one. I'll go last.
3-0 Rangers.
Oh, really? Why is that, Marcus? I want to know the reason why.
So it'll be another easy victory, I think. I mean, Livy had their kind of good period of form, but they can be kind of on and off now. And
Yeah, they're quite vulnerable at times. Yeah.
Rangers will just turn up. I mean, they'll have the incentive to go and beat them in the season.
I mean, yeah, that's one thing. That's one thing we have to fight for now is not conceding and obviously going undefeated. Yeah, Sam, what was your prediction, mate?
It's always a tight game when
Yeah,
they
yeah.
play at
Spaghetti Head.
the Spaghetti Head, Tony Macaroni. So I'm just gonna go with 1-0 Rangers.
Okay.
It's gonna be tight,
Well,
but Rangers will win.
yeah. Obviously, I would say the same thing as well. I would combine both your thinking. So I think obviously when we go to the Tony Macaroni, it is always difficult. It always is when you go there because obviously plastic pitch, etc. And obviously Marcus, yeah, Livy have lost form as well, and obviously Rangers have just come off of a massive win against Celtic. So I'm going to go in between yous. I'm going to say Rangers 2, Livingston 0. Which is probably fair. I don't think Rangers will. I think we'll try and use players we don't normally play. But again, I feel think obviously our bench has been quite strong. Obviously, we could probably make a second team out of our bench and it'll still be a really strong team to compete for the league. To be honest, not gonna lie. But yeah, no, I think it won't be as easy as people think. But I still think it'll be sort of comfortable, because of Livy's form. Yeah. So 2-0 Rangers. Goals coming from Alfredo and Kent.
In the next game at 6:30, it's Celtic versus St Johnstone. Again, another difficult one to predict because you don't know who's out for St Johnstone in the games in 5 days' time.
Yes. I'll kick us off. I'm going to say 1-0 St Johnstone.
Wow.
Because I can't predict Celtic to win. I can't. Especially like they're coming off a really bad loss as well. And also, I think I don't know if they're appealing Callum McGregor's yellow. Are they?
I don't think so. No.
Even if they do, it wouldn't get
even though Mr. Kennedy came out and said it wasn't a second yellow, so why are they not approving it anyway? Move on. But yeah, obviously I can't predict Celtic to win. St Johnstone are on form. Of course, they lost players out, but yeah, that's the reason why I think St Johnstone will win. They're just on form right now. They're the better team.
I think it's at Celtic Park. Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, St Johnstone did get a draw there earlier in the season, but I don't think they'll replicate it. probably just a 2-0 for Celtic. Probably not the best performance from Celtic, but they'll just kind of get over the line, and yeah, just a standard kind of win.
Yeah.
Maybe someone like El Unici having a good game for them.
I would normally think that, but I can't predict everyone.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with 2-1 to Celtic. Just because, yeah, it's going to be a tight game, but don't know how St Johnstone are going to play. Don't know how Celtic are going to react to what happened to them last week. So it'll be an interesting one.
Of course, yeah.
And the last game in the top half is between Aberdeen and Hibs at 7:45.
Oh, I'm going to kick this off. I'm going to say 0-0. Always is between the two teams.
That would get us. That would get us third. So
Yeah,
0-0 practically secures third. So
yeah. I mean, I'm gonna be outside the following week of Ibrox, so I won't be able to watch the. That's probably the only game I'm probably gonna miss.
fair. I'm gonna say 1-1 because as much as I want to say 2-1 Hibs,
It's Hibs Aberdeen fixture. It's always ends in a draw. Always ends in
it's
one.
also like
Oh,
we'll probably rest a few players, I'd imagine.
yeah.
Obviously, if we get depending on whether we get through tomorrow, to the final. So, which is obviously is the week after next with Celtic on the Saturday. But yeah, 2-1.
What is it on Premier tomorrow?
Yes, unfortunately.
Okay, I'll give that a watch.
But that'll be enough to get us over the line, and that's good enough for me. So yeah, 1-1.
Cool.
I'm gonna agree with Carl and go 0-0.
It's a Hibs Aberdeen fixture, isn't it?
I don't think either team's gonna win it, so I'm just gonna go with a draw.
Right, I'm gonna admit this now. It's either gonna be 0-0 or it's gonna be 1 each.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
So that's what makes it exciting.
I don't see either team winning it, so.
I mean, if Martin Boyle does play well and the strikers are on form, then Hibs will win it. But if same with Aberdeen, if Aberdeen strikers are on form, then it could go either way, you know. But Hibs are definitely favourites, of course. But again, it's the Hibs Aberdeen fixture. That's all I need to say. I'm sure you agree, Marcus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We go back into the relegation group, the bottom six, and it's Dundee United versus Motherwell at 6.
Hard one to predict, to be honest. I'm gonna say, it's so tough. It really is. I'm gonna say what I thought initially. I'm gonna say 2-1 Motherwell. I really can't see Dundee United scoring more than 1. Even that, to be honest. It's hard to predict because obviously Motherwell have been, like, when they're poor, they are really poor. But when they're good, they can be a really good team.
They're a very funny team to predict.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm gonna go with my gut. I'm gonna say 2-1 Motherwell. Yeah.
I'm gonna go with 2-0 Motherwell. In the same way, I don't see Dundee United scoring. Segrist is out for the rest of the season for Dundee United, so they're not playing their best goalkeeper, and I think Motherwell will take advantage of that, especially Devante Cole. It's going to be a 2-0 Motherwell win.
Marcus.
I'm going to say 1. I'm going to say 1-0 Motherwell. It'll be a tight one.
Yeah, it's a tough one to predict, to be honest, really.
Yeah.
Could go either way. I can see it. If Motherwell play bad, then they'll lose. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then at 7:45, we've got Killy versus St Mirren.
That's a tough one to predict as well.
Yeah, that one for me is a Killy win. I think 2-1 probably.
Again, this game does determine on what happens with semi-final, to be honest, because St Mirren lose, sorry. then it could affect their morale for the next game. But yeah, I'm probably going to agree with you on this, Marcus. I'm going to say 2-1 as well. Kelly, if Laffy goes on form, then yeah. Obviously, Laffy wasn't the greatest in the last week, so if he's back on form, then yeah, they'll get goals. I think, especially against like a weakened St. side, which I don't think they've been playing great recently.
You guys played each other in the cup a couple of weeks ago. Finished 3-3, so I reckon it's going to be a close game. Kelly will want to get out, and St Mirren aren't playing for anything anymore, really. So I'm going to go for 2-1 to Kelly.
Sorry, what did you say?
That's 2-1 Kelly.
2-1 Kelly. So we're all going with 2-1.
Yeah, that's like
very good, guys. All the best, I guess.
Yeah, and the final game is also at 7:45 on Wednesday. Is Ross County versus Hamilton. I just noticed that Hamilton play both Ross County and Killy in their last 2 games of the season.
yeah.
Mate, I genuinely think this bottom half of the table is so hard to predict.
Aye. Any team can beat another team realistically. But
I'm going to kick this right. I'm going to kick this off. I want to say a Ross County win, but it's Hamilton. I'm going to go with my gut. I'm going to say 2-0 Ross County. 2-0 Ross County. But I genuinely can't see a reason why Hamilton can stay up this season. As much as it's Hamilton, I can't see them staying up this season. I really can't.
yeah.
It's not like I want them to, but it's hard to predict. They could go either way. Hamilton on form, they'll win. Ross County or not, they won't. Again, it's hard to predict the bottom of the table.
I think Ross County are actually, they've had a few good results this season, and I reckon if they get a win here, it'll probably take them out of the relegation battle. They're the one who's most clear at the moment, but it's Hamilton.
Exactly, it's Hamilton.
Fuck it, I'm just going to say 2-0 Ross County.
Yeah, same with that. Marcus?
I was thinking 2-0 Ross County as well, and I'm just going to stick with it, even though Sam said the same. But
as we all said the same for the last 2.
It's so hard to predict, and we all pick the same predictions.
Honestly, it is. I'm kind of glad we're agreeing, but I kind of not, because if I get points, then you're all getting points.
Yeah, we're all getting the same points, and we'll get no points, so it's going to be interesting.
We're definitely going to be interesting, mate. Definitely.
That means that after that, there's only one round of league games to predict next week, and then the week after it'll just be the cup final.
Yeah.
So there's not.
I'm looking forward to next week.
Yeah, there's not much opportunity left to get the famed Mars bar, to win the famed Mars bar. But
honestly, whoever the winner is of this predictions will get a Mars bar. The bottom needs to buy the top person a Mars bar. That's the rules we agreed on, I'm sure.
Yeah. I think it was.
So at the moment, as it currently stands, Lewis needs to buy me a Mars bar.
But I like that. That change.
I like the sound of that.
I think next season as well will be interesting because we're predicting the whole season.
Yeah. And I'll make I can add. We're if you're but Marcus, I'm glad you've been there to keep me connected. So
of course.
Never come to the end of the season, so. But yeah.
Yeah, so on that note of who's buying the Mars bar, we're going to end for this week. So thank you guys for joining me, and thank you all for listening as well, and we'll see you again next week.
Cheers, guys.
Thanks for listening, guys.
See you later.
Yeah.
The False 90s podcast is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Podbean, and our website at false90s.wordpress.com. For updates, follow False 90s on both Twitter and Instagram. And a big thank you to Fransisco Aluear and his track Space Game, which is our theme tune.
How did we get on predictions 2 weeks ago?
I don't know. I got rid of them. Yeah.
Is this you? You know, using some backhand tactics?
Actually, I do have them, to be honest. I do have them, but I don't know the results of them.
It's just now you're in the lead. You're cheekily.
Doesn't care anymore. He's in the lead.
I do need to fair. I mean, if you know the results, then
Okay,
we can
so
do this live.